lover could take you places. Take Mexico for instance. That's known for its varied flavors, colorful presentation and a variety of spices. Or Italy, which of course is a hot favorite for its diverse variety of pastas and pizzas. To even Thailand, China or Malaysia for their Thai, Chinese and Malaysian specialities. But not anymore. And that's because India is fast becoming the hub of world cuisine, thanks to modern retail and a rapid increase in import of international food brands across categories that include pastas, spreads, sauces, snacks, cereals, soups and much more. It is the rising star of the foods category in modern trade in India and has witnessed significant growth in the last 3 years. So much so that their contribution to the FMCG sector has increased from a mere 1% to anywhere between 6 to 10% currently.
We started 3 to 4 years back and we started introducing the basic categories international, the brands which were famous in India. Consumers were coming to our stores and people who were traveling outside, who are into well-versed cooking world, they were asking, can we get these brands? So we started listing these international brands, and as we started we realized that the market is pretty large. Over the last 3 years, at least from 10 to 20 SKUs, today we would have something like above 200 SKUs in our stores. And the sales would have grown by nothing less than 50 to 60% CAGR over the last 3 years.
The import food segment in India represents a couple of thousand crore overall. We're rather fortunate in that we're growing triple digits now, perhaps again based on a small base, but I do know that the size of this particular market is growing 50-80% per year on year, and these are good numbers.
These whopping growth numbers reflect a surge in demand for specialty imported foods, which means increased consumption as these new consumers flock to modern retail outlets to satiate their evolving taste buds. Add to that steps taken by importers and trade bodies to facilitate this trend further.
One is the food importer. Today food importers have become much more efficient, have a wider range of products available. They're in control of their supply chain, both dry as well as cold supply chains. So they're able to offer us an assortment which is significantly bigger and better and more fresher than one would have seen a couple of years back. I think the second factor clearly is the various trade bodies and government bodies from across the world who are inviting Indian retailers to trade shows, connecting them with exporters and food brands outside India.
One can also map the success of these brands in modern retail by simply taking a walk through the aisles of any major retail outlet, and what you'd find is international brands flooding the shelves in almost every category. To the extent that in some categories they've replaced domestic brands which now occupy lower shelf space. And there is a conscious effort towards keeping both domestic and imported brands together to offer a wider variety and comforting environment to consumers who may otherwise shy away from entering a space that is specially branded as imported. That apart, retailers are also taking initiatives in promoting these brands in-store through mini food festivals and special offers.
There are a lot of international food associations and there are a lot of embassies also which promote their country's cuisine in the country. So we've tied up with 4-5 of them in the last 1 year itself. So last month we did the Thai food festival, then before that we did the Mexican food festival, we had an international food festival, before we had a Japanese food festival. So all these companies internationally of that country comes together, they pool in resources and then we do a joint marketing promotion, and that's pretty big.
No wonder then that from the time that India opened its doors to imported foods in 2001, business has only been on an upward trajectory. The number of importers have multiplied from being just about 4 back then to more than 30 currently. And each one of them has a rather impressive portfolio of brands that have pan-India presence and perform exceptionally well in big metros, giving them a year-on-year growth of anywhere between 15 to 40%. In fact, importers themselves are ensuring they leave no stone unturned in meeting the demands of the Indian consumer.
We came with the intention to create a category, develop the brand and get into the Indian kitchen. And in order to do that, we at American Garden specifically Indianized our product. We introduced eggless mayonnaise, we introduced hot and spicy popcorn. So we tried to get the taste of the Indian consumer. The Indian taste bud was very important.
Categories like cereals, sauces and spreads, olive oil, jams and jellies, and wafers, to name a few, have seen significant increase in the import quantity in the last 3 years. One category where imported brands have had a rather successful run in the Indian market is chocolates. So much so that Italian chocolate brand Ferrero Rocher has managed to dent the sales of major Indian chocolate brands. In modern trade, Ferrero currently occupies 25 to 27% of the Indian chocolate market. Its entry has led to a drop in Cadbury's market share from close to 70% earlier to now 55%. Nestle and Amul follow suit with just about 10 and 5% of the market.
See, Ferrero today contributes to around 20 to 25% of our chocolate sales, which is pretty good given that it's a 3-4 years old story. In fact, in Diwali, in the large pack, Ferrero was one of our largest seller, even selling more, outselling any other brand in the large pack during Diwali time.
And retailers are lapping up this robust opportunity with open arms, as imported products, in spite of being priced at a premium, are seeing a huge surge in sales, giving them higher profit margins.
Of course, profitability is much higher, so we earn about 30% more on imported brands on margin than we would on domestic brands. So of course that's a big play. The reason why they still buy are them manifold. Some of the important ones are there is no substitute in a domestic brands. The second reason possibly will be the quality of the product itself. Domestic brands, especially in niche categories, still have to ladder up to quality which the imported brands are giving.
It's a market that's currently pegged at 12 to 1500 crores and poised to grow at the rate of 30 to 40% in the next 5 years. In fact, many of these international brands are now looking to set shop in India, given the kind of response they've received from Indian consumers. Setting shop in India will enable these brands to ensure better pricing and increasing their share in this market. Modern trade is no doubt ecstatic with the growth of this category and is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that this segment gets a further impetus in the years to come. So, for consumers like you and me, the next few years will not only witness a burst of international brands, but they may also come with a cheaper price tag.